saw everybody else comes up here who are excellent speakers. And you got to go after Ron Savage, a professional. They all got paper. I got an iPad. So, look to the future. Wait, that's there. Except I got new glasses day before yesterday. So either I can see this or I can see you, but I can't do both. I talked to Trina last night, and it truly is an honor for me to get this award because so many people are deserving. And I'm not the kind of guy that actually likes to single people out for the job we do because I truly believe that everyone is vested in it and everyone needs to do the job the way it needs to be done. But let me just tell you a little bit about it. And I talked to Trina last night, and she said, well, we got listed from anything from thank you to 10 minutes. I said, okay. No. But I'll tell you how I got started in this. My brother is here, Jerry. And I was living in Texas, and I came up here, and my brother, Dave Pasteur, who is now a physician, he went to medical school in his 50s and graduated and he was actually the doc on Mackinac Island. But I worked with Jerry and Dave. Jerry was driving, so you had to hold on. Dave is driving, there's garbage trucks passing you, but we went on 2 runs the same day. One of them was in Waterford Township, and they were the paramedics, and because I think Fleet had their ALS in 1976 or so. So right along the same lines as some of the municipalities. And there was a lady in the barber in a beauty chair getting her hair done, cardiac arrest. They get there. Back then, you did things a little bit different sequence. They get her on the floor, they start an IV, they intubate, they put her on the EKG, and then, they give the first line of medication, then they finally defibrillate. And she came back, she's alive. And I thought, damn, that's pretty good. I worked for a newspaper in Texas, that was pretty good. So the second one we went on was, we went down Williams Lake Road, and my brother, again, driving way too fast, because I was levitating in the back, over the hills, and it was a guy who was roofing, fell off his roof, broke his femur, him and Dave, and I think it was Commerce Fire, traction splint, IV. Back then, I think it was a Demerol Visceral mix that IM and still hurts. Morphine goes in the IV. I thought, damn, that is, and it is an immediate reward. Right then, you can see that you're helping people. So I thought, well, I'm going to go see if I had aptitude to that. Went to OCC, and I thought I had aptitude for it. And I see a lot of people, although not right now because my glasses are on, but that were in my class. Not the least of which was Bob Cesario. And Denise actually took over for Dick Osgood, who taught my basic class. Denise Martin is here. She's or Denise Charette. Share a song with the Charette family. Because I know her from a long time ago. So I got into it and worked in Pontiac as a basic for about a year. And while I was doing that, I was going to OCC, become paramedic. And a lot of the people are here. Brian Long and a number of other people that were in my paramedic class are here as well. Started worked the west side a lot, and I think it was Dr. McGraw who said we stand on shoulders. We certainly do. And I'm just giving it to you from my perspective because I work northern and western Oakland County. So there was people like Dr. Maliki, who I remember distinctly pulling a couple of paramedics into a room and saying, you will never ever give lidocaine to a third-degree heart block again, and just, ripped them up. And I thought, I'll never do that either. They may look like PVCs, but they weren't. Or Dr. Mojica, who, rest in peace, he was at St. Joe's in Pontiac, and had kind of a thick Filipino accent. And back then, it seems like nurses doted over the doctors a little more than they do now. And he was intubating somebody, got puke on his sleeve, and the nurse is like, oh, doctor, and she's getting a towel, and he goes, that's okay, I love it. But he was one of the originals in the PSRO, and actually was some of the people that Dr. Malafa took over the ER there, and she's taken over from a lot of history. Dr. Arnosian, I don't think anybody did for our system early on as much as Dr. Arnosian did. And I can remember distinctly, we had somebody, I think it was a CHF patient, way on the west side, got an IV, and back then, we still called our base hospital, and their base hospital called the receiving hospital, but we had just gotten OCOM, and we had a repeater out there, so you'd have to run out call OCOM, they say channel 4, they have to run out the ambulance, put the repeater on channel 4, and then run back, put that on channel 4. And Aaron Oceans orders like 2 gallons of Lasix and a pint of morphine, and we're going to McPherson, which is now St. Joe's Livingston. We're going to McPherson. Let them know how we treat patients in Oakland. Off the radio. He truly trusted the paramedics. He trusted your judgment. He trusted your assessment, and it showed with the treatments that he'd order for you. There's a gazillion stories like that. Let me think. I have this in notes. This whole lifetime thing again. My mother is here, Mother Mary. She supported me even though I messed up frequently, and she hoped I would turn out okay, and I did give her reason to doubt for quite a while. But now getting this, now she's here, she's very proud of her son, and for that I thank you. My wife's here too, Jan. She's stuck through thick and thin with me, and she's a fairly spiritual person, and she is always learning new things. She gets headaches, she goes gets a massage. That's good enough for most people. Nope, not her. She's got to become a massage therapist. Good enough for most. Nope, not her. She's got to be an instructor and then become a Reiki master and a healing touch and aromatherapy and all this stuff that, I don't know, a lot of times I think it's voodoo, but but she doesn't, and it takes a lot of time and commitment. She doesn't, and for whatever reason, she's stuck with me, and I love her. Lifetime Achievement Award, to me, sounds a little ominous, like it's all over. It's not, I hope. Because the new beginning for me started June 15, 2003 with Star EMS, and we did get there with about 25 people who were extremely dedicated. Becky's here, she was there. Extremely dedicated. They did scratch for everything they had. And they were just looking for somebody to come along that maybe had some contacts and maybe a little bit of luck, and so there I was. Our personality, the company's personality, I think is a lot of the same personality that we had at Fleet Ambulance and at Suburban Ambulance, and even Pontiac Fire Department, Waterford Fire Department, Birmingham, West Bloomfield. Back then, this stuff was fairly new, and it was pretty exciting. Really was. And all these folks at all these agencies worked well together, like Lori is imploring us to do now, and we cared about the people we took care of. And it was important to everyone. So we worked well together, and it really, at the hospitals, when you saw each other at parties, it wasn't us versus them or anything, and truly I don't think it is even to this day. We've gone through a lot of folks at Star over the last almost 10 years now, and a lot of them have gone on to be firefighters, some to be nurses, some to be physician assistants, some to be doctors, some moving on entirely. But they all of them, I'm proud to have worked with them, and I'm proud to have been a couple of stones in their path of life. And I think that we impart on people is that we really want you to understand that what we do is important. I'm on Waterford Chamber, and you sit there and you see people that are bankers or they sell insurance and stuff like that, and I truly think to myself, holy crap, I couldn't do that. Because it's just not important. What we do is important, and I think that truly what we do is not a job. It's a vocation. It's a thought. It's who we are. And if you don't think that way, and if you don't think of yourself in a servant-type relationship with the people you serve, you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. Because it's not for us, it's for that patient out there. And we have a saying, it's not our mission statement, but it's a saying that we have. And it's a guy that died in 2003, Rick Shacker, who I'm sure most people know in here. He taught virtually from Keith Rowley to everyone in here Tom, everybody that from back in that era. Rick touched either in the initial training, in the ACLS, in the CEs, and Rick touched them. He said that there's no higher honor than to be given the responsibility to care for another human being. And I believe that. We have it on our wall, we have it on the back of our business cards, we have it on the bottom of our stationery. And it kind of directs our folks to that this is a trust that's placed in us. Think about it. When you're going to people's homes, you're taking care of mothers and brothers and sisters, dads, and they're trusting you to know what you're doing. They're trusting you to get there in timely fashion, be equipped properly, and to take care of their loved one. Nobody has ever said, yeah, you know what, they started a great IV, and I think they used aseptic technique. They have never ever called me to say that. But I've gotten a gazillion calls from people who said, thank you so much, you were so kind to my mother. Thank you so much. You know, they actually came back and asked how we were doing. There's little extra things that they do remember, they do call. And Jibo said, don't say it, don't say it. we do have a little saying that our thank you to, I'll say F you ratio is pretty good. Our thank yous are way high, our F yous are way low. And for that, I really, that does me good. We had, since 2003, and I'll be done in about 30 minutes translating. Since 2003, in our little company, we've had 7 people pass away, if you consider Rick. Rick never worked for us, but he passed away in May, and the new star was in June. So, Rick was 51 when he died in 2003. We've had 6 others, though, that were part of the Star family that have died, and I just want to say their names so that we can kind of honor them. And I won't say much about them, but Kathy Dooley, some people may know her as Kathy Palmer. She died in 2004. She was our billing manager, and a great person and a great friend. David Gilliam was 40 years old, had 6 kids from the age of like 12 to 6 months, went home on Christmas Day from his shift and died of a cerebral aneurysm. In Armada, as a matter of fact, some people may have saw on Extreme Home Makeover, I think that they actually built him a house, or his widow a house. Milo Trapowski was just 42, coming back to us. He had worked for us for a couple of years, 3 years, then went to work for Sunstar in Pinellas County, was coming back. He died in 2008. Charlie Matthews was a wheelchair driver for us, and he's 70 years old. But Charlie was younger than anybody in this room. He was full of life. Charlie was a good guy. He died in 2009. Justin Bovee worked for us. And he died at the age of 21 in 2009. And then most recently, in December of 2011, Bill Rose died while he was working on the job, had cardiomegaly, and wasn't really struggling with a psych patient, but succumbed to his cardiomegaly and a flash edema. Eric Simmons was working with him at the time, and they were at Doctor's Hospital. Worked on him for well over 45 minutes, but there was just nothing you could do for him. So these folks will all be part of the Star EMS family as far as I'm concerned, and I don't ever want to go to another funeral of people who work there. So, I got more stuff here, but I think I mixed it up a little bit, but what I think I want to part with is you're here for a reason, you're trusted with people's lives, you need to take it serious, but you need to have fun with it too. Thank you very much for this award. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Okay,